In today's episode, we are giving you all the information about cruising on the Royal Caribbean's Quantum of the Seas magnificent ship. We sailed out of Brisbane, Australia on a 7-day South Pacific Island cruise. Now, this is the first cruise I have done as a passenger and the first one that Lyle has done in over 30 years. So we have all the helpful info you need if you are thinking about cruising for the first time, or if you just love everything about cruising, or even if you're not sure if cruising is for you. We give you all the answers to the most asked questions and also some really helpful hints that we learnt in our week on board. You will also hear the best cruise story ever. As I said, I have never cruised as a passenger, but I did work on a cruise ship 14 years ago. And I'm not going to give anything else away, only to say I bet you have never done a cruise like the one I did in March 2010. So you'll have to listen to hear what that was. Now, if you want to see all the pictures from this week's episode, then go to the podcast description on the player you are listening on now and click the link to the webpage for episode 95. Hi Lyle, how you doing?
Hey Leanne.
You doing good?
I'm good.
Relaxed after our week cruising?
Yes, very relaxed.
As I said in the intro, we went out on the Quantum of the Seas on a cruise, and we're going to break it down into a couple of different episodes all about, things to know before you cruise and while you're cruising, all that fun sort of stuff. But let me tell you first a story about, well, Lyle hasn't cruised since in 4 years or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long, long time.
Yeah, and the last time I was I've never been a passenger on a cruise ship, but the last time I was on a cruise ship was 14 years ago, and that's when I worked on a cruise ship. And it was so much fun and met lots of people, but it was enough to think I really just don't want to go cruising with that many people, for pleasure anytime soon. So it's taken me a while to get around to wanting to go again. And another reason, because people are always telling you their cruise stories. Oh, I've been on 17,000 cruises and I've, done this and I've been there. And I reckon I've got probably the best cruise story ever. And I break it out if I have to, if I feel like there's a need. And yes.
You do break it out when you feel like you have to. And you've never been shy bringing it out. But
I do.
Come on, tell everybody.
When I cruised, I was on the Celebrity Constellation ship. And we cruised out of San Diego and Miami, and we went all around the Caribbean and Central America, including Mexico and down to Colombia. And then we did the crossing over to Europe. But in between that, we did a cruise around Hawaii. Now, we did 14-day cruises, and so which is not longer than most. Most is sort of 7 days out of around the Caribbean, and so. You know your schedule ahead of time, but we had this 2 weeks around Hawaii, but it didn't sort of give us much more information. And as it turns out, the ship was being chartered for that whole cruise. Now, what that means is someone, whether it's like a movie star or someone famous or, like a huge group have got the whole ship to, for their group. So the talk was it might be Oprah or, it could be a gay cruise, which, the people who've worked on cruise ships before me, they just love them. They say they're so much fun and they're good tippers. But anyway, it turns out it was a group called the Bare Necessities. And the Bare Necessities, as Lyle knows now, is a nudist group. So I think it was about 2,000 passengers. So every passenger on the ship, not the crew, but every passenger on the ship was part of a nudist group. And they could be in any state of nudity they wanted anywhere in the ship with a few restrictions. Now, I worked in the gym, as you know, with another Aussie called Daniel, and the only thing that they had to wear in the gym was their shoes. So there was a lot of body parts moving around on the treadmill and, all sorts of things happening, but they all had to have their shoes on for safety. So there you go. So there was one guy came in this day and he's come up to the sort of reception area and he said, have you got any places left in the yoga class? And I was just so, I don't know, like it was a flustered. Lot of flustered, and it's a lot harder to deal with than you think. And I just said to him, I'm sorry, no, we're bully foot, which is, I was so embarrassed. Anyway, so it's a bit hard to come back from that. And
you have used that story many times, and will continue to.
I will continue to do that. And another story that Daniel likes to tell was because it was actually this time 14 years ago when we were around the Hawaiian Islands doing this cruise, and it was in March, so it was St. Patrick's Day. And he remembers this one guy who basically had nothing on, but except he'd dyed his pubic hair green. He'd wrapped some green tinsel around his penis and put a little hat on it, so it resembled a little what do you call those? Anyway, it was bad taste.
A leprechaun.
Sounds like a little crazy Christmas tree. Anyway, so lots of stories.
I'm not sure where you get a Christmas tree out of a little leprechaun.
Or the green tinsel, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So lots of stories of that are not suitable for the podcast, but that was my introduction to cruising. So this time though, we were going as passengers, and we were on the huge Quantum of the Seas Royal Caribbean ship. Yes, and it holds. Well, the cruise we were on had 4,500 passengers and 1,500 staff. And then the next cruise, they said there was a changeover of 4,600 people. So it sounds like, if you think of that, you're up nearly 8,000 people, and you just think, oh my God, that's horrendous if you're like me. But they obviously know what they're doing, because they just cater for this many people week after week after week. So let me tell you a little bit about the Quantum of the Seas ship. And the cruise that we did, and we're going to break it up, as I said, because there's just so much information to give to you. The Quantum of the Seas is 16 decks, and basically deck 0 and 1 are all the workings of the ship. Deck 2 is the gangway, and deck 3 has 2 dining rooms and the casino, and the bottom floor of the music hall. Deck 4 has 2 more dining rooms. So you have the buffet, but you also have these main dining rooms that you go to for meals. And ours was called Silk, and they're huge, And as you said, how many meals? They said 16,000.
16,000
meals they prepare a day. You just can't. It's amazing.
And as you said, that includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and desserts and that.
Still a lot of food though. Yeah. So that's deck 4 we were on, but also on deck 4 and deck 5 are basically the food, the shopping, and the pubs and restaurants and things.
The thing I couldn't get was the amount, like in the middle of the promenade, which is in, I think, level 4. Yeah. Yeah. There's all these tables set up with watches and jewellery and whatever, and it's obviously
they love shopping.
The duty-free stuff. Yeah. And I just thought, that's extraordinary. Yeah. And then and also there's a art gallery which they auction the art during the cruise.
And you think, who goes cruising to buy art? Yeah. However, at the end of the week,
there was hardly anything left.
And ones that were, most of them had sold stickers on, so I thought that was pretty incredible. Yeah, so deck 4, so you got all the shops, and you got some specialty, bars like Bolero's, which has live music, the coffee shop, Sorrento's, which is always popular for the pizza, as you said, music. And it's also at one end, as at the back of the ship, is the dining rooms, and right at the front of the ship is the theatre, which is where the main shows are on, and it's over 2 levels. And then deck 5, it has another sort of theatre at the back. There's so many places, isn't there? And more like it's where the specialty restaurants are that you pay for if you want to try those out, like Jamie's Italian and Wonderland and Chops Grill and a few others. And there's another bar there and another level
of
the Royal Theatre. And deck 6, there's like a little quiet sort of area library and a few things down the back of the ship. But basically, decks 6 to 13 are where all the rooms are. People talk about where to be on the ship, the front, the back, the middle, which side. We just got given a room, and we happened to be in the middle on deck 12, which was pretty amazing with the balcony.
And we had our own little balcony?
Yeah, it was really good. So then from deck 14 is basically food, pools, and bars. So you've got the buffet, you've got children's areas, you've got indoor pools, outdoor pools, the big cinema, the big movie theatre, all that's all there, and the adult only solarium area, which has got several hot tubs and pools and a bar and another little buffet area. Yeah. And then level 15, which we went to every day, had the walking track. It has the rock climbing. It has the Cplex, which is basically a big sort of indoor arena where they have bumper cars, they play soccer, they have laser tag, they have all sorts of stuff happening in there. The North Star bar, now the North Star wasn't working when we were there. It's like gives you like 360 degrees above the ship. And then the spa and the salon as well are there, like for your massages and hairdresser.
You've got the gymnasium.
The gym's on 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 16 is the flow rider, the surfing thing, the iFly, so you can pretend you're parachuting, the sun deck, and the fitness centre. So there's basically levels 14 up. It's just all fun and food. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we originally got on the boat for the first sort of, I suppose, recce that we did.
Yeah.
We went and had a look at the gymnasium.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that was the last time we went into the gymnasium.
Well, I wanted to go and see, and they're still doing the same seminars selling your detox products that I used to do when I worked on the ship. So
and you were
I did sell a lot.
Yes, you were the number one sales girl. Am I right or not? And they actually offered you to go to another ship.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's a long time ago. That I didn't really. Yeah, thank you, darling, for. So that's basically the layout of the ship in a nutshell. So I'd like to share some things some really useful information to have before you actually go on the cruise. Yeah. Yep. And so I actually rang them rather than book online, and they were very helpful. Royal Caribbean staff, from the website to the people on the phone at the other end have been nothing but really helpful and give you all the information that you need. And they send out like all your travel documents, and in that is also the tags that you print out. You need to print out your tags
for your
baggage, and you need to do it in colour. And you think paper tags, how's that going to last? But the way you fold them, it's one sheet of paper. It's really strong, and you staple it on. And we didn't have any problems with that, did we?
No.
Yep, that worked really well. And so that's the first thing you do is get your online sort of documentation. You'll need your passport if you're heading into any overseas destinations, like we went to the South Pacific. You'll need that, and definitely a photo ID as well. There's an app that Royal Caribbean has, and I just found that absolutely so good to use. Now there's a fair bit of information on that before you cruise, but when you actually get on your cruise, it has everything all the activities, all the entertainment, all the hours of operation of the restaurants and cafes. And you can actually hook up to that without the internet, like they have on board Wi-Fi just for that. And so you can send messages to other people on the cruise, which was handy because we didn't pay for the Wi-Fi, so you can see what everybody's doing. They have they tell you if you need to turn your clock forward. They tell you what the weather's going to be like. There's just so much information in that, and also in that. There's a pre-questionnaire, medical questionnaire, so you get all that done before you get on. And the other thing is you can do your safety, they have the safety video on that as well. So just brilliant, the Royal Caribbean app. I just thought that was...
it was amazing.
Yeah, really, really handy. So you've got your tags, you've got the app. The other thing that I found useful, a bit of a giggle and, a few negatives, but mostly positive, is there's the Royal Caribbean has, well, they don't, but people start their own Facebook group. So there's actually a Facebook group. We cruised out of Brisbane. So there's actually like Royal Caribbean out of Brisbane. There's, for the actual cruise we went on, it was Quantum of the Seas, 1st to the 8th of March. There, anyone was on that cruise could join that and ask all the questions. Now, lots of questions get asked about, that's one of the main things is hair dryers. They don't want you taking your own hairdryer on board. They have hairdryers, and lots of people ask about what's in the showers, what do they provide, that sort of stuff. And by the way, they have soap and shower gel. That's it. They talk about the what are the connecting things, the electric because it's an American ship. They have American sockets, and there's one European socket, and then they have USB, so you can charge your phones through that. That was another question a lot of people ask. There's also
you asked about.
I did ask. I said, do they have coat hangers? And some lovely man wrote back and said, do they have coat hangers in a hotel? And what I should have said was, not the hotels I rent by the hour, but but I wasn't quick enough. And I got really cross, and I was going to say, and I did. I said, that's a bit sarcastic. And he said, well, that's a dumb question. I'm like, so I just wrote back and I said, fair enough, with a smiley face. And then he backed down and said, but if you need more, you can ask the steward. So, but look, people are asking all sorts of questions. And another thing they ask about.
And you did do an investigation of who that person was.
Oh, yeah, I saw him.
And you actually, how did you find him?
I didn't. I just saw him, and I just thought that.
But how did you know? Oh, okay. So it was on the Facebook, his page.
Yeah.
So Leanne's looking at me, going, "There's that."
No, I did not. I did not. No, he looked like he was having a lovely time. So anyway, we left it at that. Now there's a safe in your room as well.
Yeah.
And the fridge. This is what I thought was really weird. There's a little fridge in your room, and it's got a safe on it as well. You can lock your fridge.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. But yeah, there's plenty of, as you said, electrical charges and all that sort of stuff.
Plenty of cupboards. We've got all our stuff out of the suitcases. We put our suitcases in the cupboard. There was lots of shelves and things in the bathroom. We really had plenty of room. There's, as I said, tea and coffee. They replace that every day. Lyle's got a look on his face. Yes, Lyle.
Well, I would suggest one of the things that we probably did find out by the end of the trip was we took way too many clothes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Seriously, it's only 7 days.
Yeah.
And sure, there's the dress up nights, the formal nights and the Hawaiian night or tropical night. But really, I think I took 7 pairs of shorts. I wore 2.
Yeah, but you always do that. I wore most of my clothes only because I had them. I thought I'm going to wear that because I packed an outfit for each day.
Yes.
But I could have reworn some of them.
But you're far more attractive than I am, so you need that sort of extra,
But people knew, that was something I was going to talk about, was people are wearing their matching shirts, their matching Hawaiian shirts, their matching outfits, like a group of people together, like they must have all decided they were going to wear the same outfit. Some people had special T-shirts printed, like Family Cruise 2024. There were families like mum, dad, and the 2 little kids in the same thing, same outfits, and I just thought that was really cute. And there were people dressed up, as you said. There are formal nights. Nobody really cares if you do or don't. Lots of people do. There was a 70s night that we knew nothing about, and there were so many people dressed up at that, and it just really added to the atmosphere. That was a lot of fun. So, leave your normal clothes at home, bring your dress ups, because you can basically wear whatever you like.
And no one really cares.
Nobody cares. So, now, the drinks package, that's another thing that people talk about over and over and over. And
is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Now, because the prices on board are in American dollars and then they add 18% on top, I think if you are someone that likes a nice coffee or a couple of cups of coffee and a fresh orange juice, if you want to have 1 or 2 cocktails by the pool, a few glasses of wine with dinner and maybe finish off with another cocktail, that's easily going to be, it works out to $110 per person, Australian dollars. So, when you think the cocktails are $15 US and the coffee's $4.50 US and the beer's $8-9 US, it certainly does add up. So if you do like a few drinks, then it's certainly worth it. And you find that people say, yeah, did you drink more because you had the package? Yes, but I also tried more, and if I didn't like it, I didn't feel I had to drink it. So that...
No, that's true. We had an espresso martini.
Yeah, and I didn't like it at all.
Which neither of us liked.
And there was also a mojito, I think, that was... Oh, no, a gin and tonic that was just way too strong. I'm like, I'm not drinking that, and you don't feel bad about not drinking.
In fact, I actually saw a guy that was drinking gin and tonic, and my wife said, this is too strong. Yeah. Would you like it? And he was very, very thankful.
So, definitely. And the other thing about getting the drinks package is... You use your card. Every time you buy a drink, you use your CPass card or whatever that thing's called, like a little credit card thing, and they record the room number and that sort of stuff. So it makes getting you drinks much quicker, because if you don't have the drinks package, they've got to print out a receipt and you've got to sign for it each time. Yes? Yeah. So,
and of course, at the end of the cruise, if you've had the deluxe drink package, which we did, it's all paid for.
Yeah.
We actually, during the cruise, said it was free.
Yeah, that's what you feel like, having a free drink. Oh, we'll just have another free drink and another free drink.
So if you do like a drink, I mean, it's...
You don't have to write yourself. A lot of people went over the top and, just sitting at the bar drinking, one after the other. I'd say for the 7 nights, I think 4 of them I would have definitely done my money. Probably the others I'd have gone close, but I'd say you would have on every occasion. So,
sure.
Yeah.
But at no stage did we get...
No, not at all. No.
Because, and part of the reason is that you're doing stuff all the time, whether it be you go to a show.
Yeah.
So you might get one drink and the show might last 45 minutes to an hour. So you don't have a drink during that.
Yeah.
You'll go to the
dancing and stuff.
The dancing and that sort of stuff. So you're not drinking there. So, no, I thought it was great.
Yeah. Now, the other thing people ask about is the internet. Now, a lot of people feel like they need to have the internet package to be connected to families and that sort of stuff. It's about 30 Australian dollars a day. I thought 200 and something bucks for internet for a week wasn't necessary. And it was actually really nice to disengage from social media for that week. Like if there was an emergency, there's numbers to contact, that sort of stuff. And, what else was nice is people are out to dinner and there's no phones to be seen. It was just really nice for people just to sit and chat, But as I said, I know people need it for work and that sort of thing. And then a lot of the stops, like where we stopped in Noumea, has free Wi-Fi at the ferry terminal, and the people we were travelling with, Annie, she actually paid for 1 day. So when you get on board, you can decide, actually, I wouldn't mind just 1 day just to check up on what's happening at home, that sort of stuff. So, and you just pay for that 1 day. So you don't, if you buy the package before, you got to buy the whole 7 days, but you can buy individual days when you're on board.
Well, interestingly enough, I read my first book during the week.
Yeah.
And I haven't read
a whole book for ages.
And
I got through 2, which was wonderful.
He's just showing off.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people
it was great.
wear their CPass thing around their neck on a lanyard.
Yeah.
And look, honestly, that's a pain in the butt, because every time you buy something, you've got to take it off and give it to the waiter or, the people that whatever you're buying. I know some of them click on, click off, but honestly, it's just as easy to have it like a credit card in your wallet. You know?
Well, that's what we did,
yeah.
And there was no issues at all.
No, and you need that to get in and out of your room. So every time you go out, you just pop it in your pocket or a little zip pocket or a little purse or something.
Well, it's just the same. It's exactly the same as using a credit card.
Yeah, and it's your key as well, is what I'm saying. So you had to take it anyway. Now, also another question people ask about the packages. For the specialty restaurants, you can buy them before you get on board as well. And I think if it's a really busy cruise, some of the restaurants book out really early. We decided we weren't going to do that because we'd already paid for the drinks package, and it was just starting to add up to not being a cheap holiday anymore. But all over the ship, there are people trying to upsell you those packages. The one guy was just going to let us have 1 night for, it was about $80. Yes, per person. No, that was US, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just thought, you know what, the food we're getting at the dining room was amazing. Yeah, so let's leave it at that, didn't we? Yeah. Okay, so now, Lyle, let's talk about, the getting on the ship. So, as I said, the cruise left from Brisbane.
Yeah.
So people are flying in or driving and parking, yeah? So if you fly into the airport in Brisbane, then the cruise terminal has a shuttle that you have to pay for, but you can book it and pay, and it's there for you, and it's just really easy. Our friends did that. They said it was fabulous.
Yeah, so the cruise terminal's not very far from the airport.
No, it's not, no. And then if you do like us and you pay for parking, we did the cruise side parking or something. Portside parking.
Portside parking, and that was about $200 for the week.
It was $200 for the week. We got there, we drove straight in undercover.
Yeah, you don't even have to get out of your car. No. I thought, to be honest, that whole logistics process of actually getting on the boat, because what you do is you drive in, you sit in the car, the lady takes your name while you're still sitting in the car.
She gives you a plastic bag.
She gives you a plastic bag, which you put your car keys on it, and she just says,
go over there, they'll show you where to park.
They'll show you where to park. You just put your car keys on underneath the windscreen wiper, and we were fortunate enough that we got the last 2 seats on the shuttle bus from the car park to the terminal.
Yep.
So anyway, it's probably maybe 15 minutes to get from the car park to the ferry terminal.
And the ferry terminal is great.
Well, one of the things that I probably, before I went, would concern me a little bit was, lining up and to get on. I'm not real patient with, queues and that sort of stuff. And I know you were going to say something.
No, not at all.
But it's not my cup of tea. But, patience is a virtue I don't have any time for. But this was spectacular.
You get off the shuttle bus, you get your luggage, you basically walk 20 metres, you hand it over to a lady, and you don't have to worry about your luggage again because it's got, you've printed it out, it's got what your name on it, it's got what room you're in, what deck you're in. You don't even worry about it. And all that's it's not going to get left behind or lost because all the luggage has to get on the ship, right?
Yeah, and the amount of staff.
Yeah. Well, and then you just walk through and we're not supposed to get on till 12, but let's go and see because everything was a bit early. It's just unusual for me to be early. And, there was no lineups. There was just so many friendly, lovely staff to help you through the process, and not that they needed to really help you, but to guide you, go here, go there, do this, walk that way, and basically all of a sudden you're heading up the gangway, and there's a lady sitting there, she said, you're halfway, and next thing you're on the ship.
I reckon it probably took us from the time we parked in the car park to actually be on the ship. I reckon it was less than an hour.
It was less than an hour because we got there at 10:10 and we had to be there by 10:30. That was the time that they said that we needed to be there ahead of when we got on the ship. And then we got straight on the thing. We're at the terminal by 10:30 and we're on the ship by 11 o'clock.
It was unbelievable how efficient and effective the whole thing was.
It was aircon. Like people said, it's hot and you don't want to be standing around. It was indoors, it was air-conned, it was pleasant. You can buy food there if you need to as well. Like there's coffee and stuff downstairs. Now, one of the things that really I thought was brilliant was, and obviously, we talked earlier about my cruising, that long ago, was...
Your nude cruise.
Yeah, well, cruising in general was every single embarkation day, every time you changed over and people got on, you had to do this safety briefing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And all the staff had to go with their life jackets, and every cruise person, everyone cruising guest had to go into the Royal Theatre or wherever they were and hear this demonstration, like they do. Put this over your head and blow here, and this is what you're going to listen for. And then we had to take our group to the muster station. Now, I don't know who hated it more, us as a staff or the people on the ship, because many people have cruised before and they're like, we know what we're doing, but we had to tick them off. Like, you've just got to follow the rules. But it was just like an hour process at the beginning of the cruise, which just seemed to get everyone off on the back foot. And now, as you get on the ship, on your documentation that you get, they tell you where to go, and there's a sign like when you get on the ship, you go to muster station D4, which was ours, which was outside Jamie Oliver's restaurant. There's a lady standing there, and she's like, "Oh yes, you're here now. Another crew member will just run through the quick safety with you. You're done." So they do it as soon as you get on the ship, and then it's done. Like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and
it was unbelievable.
Oh, but so much better, right? From when I used to do it. So we used to just hate it so much, and so I just think that was really brilliant as well. And then we just sort of had a little wander around and found something to eat and sat at the back of the ship and we had a nice explore because you couldn't get into your room till after 1 o'clock. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
so that was that. So that whole process was brilliant, and we'll probably talk about it in a later podcast. We're going to do a couple of episodes, as I said, about cruising, but getting off was just as simple as well, wasn't it? So we might as well talk about it now. Hey, getting off it, do you reckon? Yeah,
sure.
Why not? The night before, they give you tags, and you put those tags on your suitcase. They tell you what time you need to be in an area, and they'll call you when you get off the ship. We had to be there at 8:15. By the time we got there at 8:15, our number had already been called. They were running ahead of time, so they take your suitcase the night before. And
you don't have to though, which I didn't.
No, you don't have to, but you why wouldn't you? And then you're just left with a backpack with the stuff that you have. So you basically walk down the same gangway, and there's this room just full of suitcases, and you look for your number. Ours was 12. All our suitcases are lined up. Ours are there. We grab our suitcases. We're out the door. There's our shuttle bus. We're on the shuttle bus. Like we got.
It was actually quicker than getting on, and getting on was quick.
Yeah. And so we were gone by 9 o'clock. In less than an hour, we were heading out of the city.
Yeah, we were home by 10:30.
Yeah. And we even stopped for half an hour, right?
Yeah, and we stopped and got a coffee.
So that whole process is absolutely brilliant, and just so much better than an airport. And the staff were friendly. You still got to do the security stuff,
But even the security staff, the border force, and all that sort of thing, they're super friendly.
They're pleasant.
Yeah, really, really good. The security. Everything's just laid on so that there are no delays.
Yeah, it was fabulous. I did find the announcements when they made them were hard to hear. If you're in your room, you can't hear those. I found. Now, just before we finish off, Lyle, remember we happened to be down the back of the ship, and they had what they called the captain's corner. Remember?
Sure, which was the meeting we had.
Yeah, and so it was basically you had the captain, the chief engineer, and the ship's hotel. What do they call him? Hotel director. So he's in charge of all the food and the rooms.
And the entertainment director. She was
there as well. And so we stopped and it was like a Q&A. They sort of introduced themselves. So the captain was Captain Christoph from Poland.
Yep.
And then there was Francois from Canada, the hotel director.
Yep.
And then the
chief engineer, he was from Bulgaria.
Yeah, and they all told how they started in the industry, and they've been there for many years. I mean,
they all started off really as apprentices. Really, I suppose they didn't actually say apprentices, but that was the impression.
Working on or trainees on cargo ships, that sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, people asked all about the sewage, and they talk about how they it just goes through all this process and the water tanks and that sort of thing. They said the ship we're on took 5 years to design and then 2 years to build, and it was built. The Quantum of the Seas cost €1 billion to build. So and that was a long time ago. So it was quite expensive. This whole ship is 65 meters high.
Yeah, and they actually can, due to hydraulics, I think where they go into Canada, I think they said.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the funnels. There's funnels on top of the ships.
That actually can go down, so they can get underneath the actual bridge in Canada.
That's right.
Because they do a lot of the Alaskan tours.
And he said that it's quite a relief when you get through under the bridge because it's only a 2 metre clearance.
Yeah. So obviously it depends on the tides and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they can lower the funnels 4.5 metres, which gives them that 2 metre clearance. So that's pretty amazing.
And then they talked about, as Lan said, about the quality, the sewage and that sort of thing. How they, treat the sewage, and basically, it's basically like, water. The colour of drinking water by the time they release it. It goes through all the filters and all that sort of thing. There's 4 engines.
Yep,
there is. 2, the large ones are 27,000 horsepower.
Yeah, V6 engines.
And the 2 smaller ones are 19.
Yeah, and they're V12 engines.
Yeah, so, and they talked about how they stabilise the ship, which I had no idea. So it's almost like
computerized.
Well, and it's like wings off an aeroplane, and that helps
with the side to side.
The side to side, it doesn't really help with the
front
dipping,
to back. Yeah, so
but from side to side.
Yeah, we had a day where we had a 5 metre swell, and it was a long sort of roll. He said, so you can't do much about that. It wasn't difficult to navigate, but I've only just stopped rocking since I've got home. That sort of made me a bit wonky.
Oh, yeah, sure. But it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Now, the ships have about a 30-year lifespan, he was saying, and then they just get scrapped, although he said a couple ships have made it to Dubai, and they're now as hotels.
Floating hotels,
yeah. So that was interesting.
And one of those is, I think he said the Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah. Now, it's only going to have one more season here, the Quantum of the Seas. These big ships, they're not going to be doing this Australian circuit anymore. So if you want to get on the Quantum and on one of these big ships, then you need to do it in 2025 to get that done. So yeah, I found that really, really interesting. They gave you all sorts of information, and it was nice to sort of see the humorous side of some of the
people. I think the director, the entertainment director, I think she said she's got like 180 staff.
Yeah, dancers
between dancers and
every time you go somewhere though, there's like someone playing the piano and then someone playing violins, and there was just always something going on. So hopefully that's a really good overview of the Quantum of the Seas. Is there anything else you think would be helpful for people to know?
I think if we went any further, we'd be
telling too many stories.
Telling too much about what's coming up.
Yes, but I did take medication with me. I did take seasick tablets with me, and I did take gastro. I only took 2 Travel Calm on one day, and that's all I needed. There's also a cruise sort of, I guess, I don't know what you call it, a ritual where people hide little ducks around the ship. That wasn't for us, but a lot of the little kids love that, and they have a tag on them, and it's a bit of fun that the kids have on the ship as well. I really like the fact that you could be having a drink, at the wine bar, and it's your dinner time, and you can just get up and take your drink with you, or you can also, at the end of the night, you think, I just want to go home. The drink packages don't include bottles of wine. No. So we would just get a drink and go back to our room, sit on our balcony, and have a glass of wine there. So
and to be honest, the fact that the bottled wine was not an issue at all.
No, and the wine was nice. We found some nice wine.
Yeah, the wine. There was Italian Pinot Grigio. There was
Adelaide Hills Sauv Blanc.
Yeah, well, that was the Ponting.
Yeah,
and Ricky Ponting, the ex-Australian cricket captain.
And Anne loves Shiraz, and she liked the Ponting Shiraz. Yeah. So we could all find something that we really like to drink, didn't we?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I tried to order a couple of the Californian wines because I'd heard all about them, but unfortunately, each time I actually asked, there was none available.
Yeah, or maybe they have them. Once they're out, you can't really buy them here. So I guess they're And quickly, what about the stuff going on the ship as we were leaving? The pallets and pallets of water and food, and it's logistically incredible, the whole thing, and they make your whole week so smooth, and there's plenty of food, plenty of drink, and so much to do.
And the staff are so friendly.
So friendly, yeah, we really loved it. All right, so that's our first podcast all about the cruise. Come back to hear the next ones, because we have some funny entertainment stories. We tell you all about the port days at New Caledonia, and also Mystery Island at Vanuatu. So we've got some really fun information coming up about that. So until next. What do you say? What do you say when you say goodbye for ship? Oh, hang on.
Bon voyage. No.
Yeah, you do. That's it. But where's your favourite place to have a wine on the ship?
Oh, the Vintages, which was the wine bar.
Oh, really? Huh.
Oh, why do you give me a look like that?
Oh, I liked having the wine on the balcony. That was my favourite place.
Oh, yeah, probably you're right. Probably you're right. At the end of the night, we go back after, playing up, I suppose, and we just have a nice glass of wine.
Especially on the calm nights,
it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.